We're also getting a better picture of just how many arrests have been made here in L.A. since the start of those ramped-up ICE operations.
The new numbers come after a federal judge ordered ICE to restrict raids. NBC4's McCollum Medina is live in Long Beach with that new information. Mac.
It started before sunrise. Radios crackled across 12 states with a single instruction. Phase 1 is active. Within minutes, ICE agents rolled through Los Angeles, Dallas, Philadelphia, and Miami in coordinated waves. By the time most Americans poured their first cup of coffee, the largest single-day enforcement surge of the year was underway. When the dust settled, 2,200 arrests had been made, a record that reflected both the precision and pressure driving today's federal operations. This was not routine immigration work. It was a nationwide push to enforce the law at an unprecedented scale. Hi, before we continue, one click on the subscribe button fuels all the effort behind this and every future video. Let's break it down what happened. The operation began quietly, but moved with the speed of a military exercise. Dozens of field offices received the same directive from Washington: increase apprehensions, accelerate deportations, and prioritize those with criminal convictions. Inside ICE command centers, real-time maps lit up with tracking data. Each blinking dot marked an arrest, a transfer, or a deportation flight being prepared. By mid-morning, teams in Texas, California, Pennsylvania, and Florida had already surpassed the daily averages of previous months. The national total, 2,200 apprehensions in 24 hours, set a record for enforcement activity in 2025. For ICE leadership, it wasn't a show of force. It was a demonstration of capability under new national security mandates. Texas saw the heaviest concentration of arrests. In Houston alone, ICE agents removed 142 individuals in just 2 weeks. Collectively, those detained carried 473 criminal convictions, including aggravated assault, drug trafficking, and crimes against children. 8 were identified as gang members, 11 as convicted child predators, and 1 man had illegally re-entered the United States 21 separate times. For agents on the ground, that statistic captured the heart of the problem. The system was catching, processing, and removing individuals, only to see many return within months. Philadelphia's operation revealed another kind of threat. Federal agents arrested a man linked to Al-Qaeda who had entered the country in March 2023 and lived under a false identity. The arrest underscored what ICE officials describe as the agency's core mission: ensuring that national security isn't compromised by failures in enforcement. As one field director put it, "This is not about politics. It's about keeping Americans safe from those who shouldn't be here." Each arrest reflected weeks or months of investigation, analysts tracing digital trails, reviewing old deportation orders, and cross-referencing criminal databases. Many suspects had ignored removal notices or re-entered through remote crossings. ICE classified them as repeat crossers, individuals for whom deportation had become a temporary inconvenience rather than a deterrent. Analysts estimate that over 600,000 non-citizens with criminal records or pending charges are currently present in the U.S., highlighting both the scale and persistence of the enforcement challenge. The surge, while data-driven, also faced resistance. Several jurisdictions maintain sanctuary policies that prevent local law enforcement from cooperating with ICE. In these areas, agents often had to conduct community arrests, approaching suspects at workplaces or residences rather than in controlled detention environments. These operations are more visible, more controversial, and significantly more dangerous. As one senior commander explained, "We'd rather make arrests in county jails with 2 agents than in neighborhoods with 20. But if a jurisdiction releases violent offenders instead of transferring them to us, we have no choice." In Brownsville, agents uncovered an employment fraud ring involving forged documents used for identity theft and tax scams. 10 unauthorized workers were arrested at a single work site, exposing ties between fake documentation and organized crime. The information was fed back to ICE's Law Enforcement Support Center in Vermont, where analysts mapped broader networks of document fraud and trafficking. Federal data now links these schemes to money laundering operations used by transnational criminal groups. While the public often sees only the arrests, the logistics behind these operations are immense. Each apprehension triggers layers of verification: biometric checks, criminal history confirmation, detention coordination, and legal processing. Internal reports describe surge fatigue as officers balance increasing quotas with long hours and emotional strain. Still, the agents continue to see their mission as essential. "Our job isn't politics, it's protection," said one officer involved in the Los Angeles operation. "We don't write the laws, we enforce them. And when we do, families, communities, and victims are safer." Critics argue that the rising quotas, reportedly set at 30 arrests per day per field office, represent a shift toward numbers over nuance. Civil liberties groups have accused ICE of militarizing immigration enforcement, while federal officials counter that measurable benchmarks ensure accountability and efficiency. The political debate has played out in courtrooms and Congress, but inside ICE command centers, the view remains pragmatic. Laws must be enforced or they cease to matter. Beyond the headlines, agents face the human dimension of their work. Each arrest is a legal action, but also a human story. Some detainees are long-term residents with families, others are fugitives with serious criminal histories. Agents see both realities daily: the gratitude of communities relieved of repeat offenders, and the anguish of families separated by enforcement. That moral weight is part of the job, one that officers describe as duty with consequence. As deportation flights departed that night, the final tally reflected more than a record number. It revealed a moment of recalibration in U.S. immigration enforcement. ICE's mission, refined under the Department of Homeland Security, remains clear: identify, arrest, and remove individuals who violate immigration law, particularly those posing public safety threats. Officials stress that without consistent enforcement, the law loses meaning. By the end of the 24-hour surge, the command channels fell silent. Screens dimmed across the control centers as buses returned to base. For agents, it marked the conclusion of one operation, but also the beginning of many more. The quota remains in effect. The pressure continues. And the system, for better or worse, depends on their persistence. In the end, the 2,200 arrests represent not just a surge of numbers, but a statement of intent that federal law will be enforced consistently, even amid controversy, and that protecting the homeland remains ICE's unwavering duty. The nationwide ICE surge showed both the scope and resolve of America's enforcement mission. Thousands of officers, one coordinated goal: upholding the law and protecting public safety. Each arrest represents a safer street, a prevented crime, and a step toward restoring accountability in the immigration system. Should local jurisdictions strengthen cooperation with federal teams to prevent repeat offenders from returning? Stand with those who protect our borders. Like, comment, share, and subscribe for more verified ICE operations reports.